This book, Seasons of the Mind, is a collection of applications of the self identity through Ho'oponopono. Morrnah Simeona wrote a part of this, and then other SITH practitioners. I have not read this linearly. I did not read it from beginning to end, but I jumped around, and what I've read so far, I love. I love hearing people's testimonies about Ho'oponopono, and as I've been reading this book, I've been thinking maybe I should journal or write down all the times Ho'oponopono has helped me out. Now, I need to say this clearly. Just because these people are sharing something that might have happened instantaneous, please feel no shame if something might take months or even years for you to heal from, or for the Ho'oponopono to work. And another question or another idea that I have, which is a question: how do we know it's not working? Just because we don't see a physical manifestation, there might be something working that we're not privy to, that we are not aware of. So I just want to make those couple of statements. Again, please don't feel any shame if you're not having instantaneous results with Ho'oponopono. Okay, I'm going to read. This is going to be a reading, a review, and commentary, so that way we can get the information on the internet through the fair use law. Okay, preface. Seasons of the Mind is about freedom. It is being whole, peaceful, and unshackled moment by moment. It is freedom from hurtful, painful, and stressful memories of the mind that cause dis-ease in the body, soul, and spirit. This book is about people who have set themselves free from unhappy relationships, long-standing physical illnesses, earthbound spirits, and other negative experiences. It is about those who have released themselves from attachments to beliefs, attitudes, and behavioral patterns that have blocked them from being in tune with cosmic laws, their brothers and sisters, and every atom and molecule of the universe. So, as I was reading that, oh my goodness, my watch just popped on. It's listening to me, you guys. As I was reading that list, take this list as something that you can strive for. So it says it is about those who have released themselves from attachments to beliefs. So, what beliefs do you need to release yourself from? What attitudes and behavioral patterns that are causing blockages? What do we need to be released from in that way? And that's what we can believe on. We can believe that we will be more in tune with cosmic laws, with our brothers and sisters, and every atom and molecule of the universe. What do these people have in common? They have an understanding of themselves as both the creators and destroyers of their lives. Wow, that is powerful. It's one thing to create your life, but are you destroying it through these attitudes and beliefs that would cause blockages? That is so powerful. Wow, I'm going to read that again. These people who are practicing SITH identity, self identity through Ho'oponopono, they have an understanding of themselves as both the creators and destroyers of their lives. Through this, they are able to deal with the cause of their painful/stressful situations and set themselves free. Woven within the fabric of each story is the constant motif of self-identity. To the ancient Hawaiians, one's identity meant that the understanding of the triune of the mind, the Unahipali subconscious, the Uhani conscious, and the Amakua superconscious, and its relationship to the divine creator. Okay, that was a mouthful. So the ancient Hawaiians knew that one's identity meant the understanding of the triune mind, the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. and its relationship to the divine creator. According to them, to truly know oneself is to be in touch with the process of creation. Knowing who one is gives one the ability to choose life peacefully or stressfully. So it's a choice. Are we going to choose peace or are we going to choose stress? Knowing one's self-identity gives one an understanding of the basic law of cause and effect. Those who have shared their wonderful stories in this book were able to free themselves through Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian process of rebalancing, correcting, and tapping the powers of the mind. Morrnah, Nalamaku Simeona, a native Hawaiian, has updated this old practice for today's people. Bless you, Morrnah. Okay. Introduction. So that was the preface, and now we're on to the introduction. Oh, why I am bending the book so that I can read it better. This book is 60 pages, and if you purchase it, it's $30, and then whatever the shipping was. So just keep that in mind. There's another one called Dewdrops of Wisdom, I believe. Let me look really quick. Yes, Dewdrops of Wisdom. That was also $30 and about the same number of pages. So right now I'm going to continue discussing Seasons of Mind. I most likely will do another video for Dewdrops of Wisdom. Okay, so introduction. Deep within the part of our mind we call the subconscious lies hidden a vast storehouse of memories, memories that stretch throughout all of our existence, back even to the beginning of our creation. We have them within us, each of us. We are the sum total of all that we have been and done before. By accepting this, we can then begin to correct any wrongs we may have created, accumulated, and or accepted from the beginning of our creation to the present. So not only have we created wrongs, but we have accumulated them, meaning these wrongs have been added and sometimes maybe even multiplied. Who knows? We have accumulated, like people accumulate clutter, we have accumulated memories, and or we have accepted them. Accepted meaning somebody else could have had memories and then we accepted it from them and it became part of our storehouse. When we experience stress or fear in our daily lives, if we would look, we would find that the cause of the stress or fear is actually a memory. It is the emotions that are tied to these memories that affect us. The subconscious associates an action, person, or place in the present with something that has happened in the past. Okay, so I'm going to share a really quick story. I used to walk by this park almost every day, and subconsciously, of course, I would register the frog statue. But for whatever reason, one particular day, the frog statue stood out to me, and I was feeling a sense of anxiety and fear. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And so, of course, when I walk, sometimes I do Ho'oponopono, and at that time I was doing Ho'oponopono. And then I had a flashback, a real quick flashback to like when I was 3, 4, or 5, and I was reprimanded for playing with my aunt's stuffed frog. And so when it says that the subconscious associates an action, person, or place in the present with something that has happened in the past, that incident, wow, it was just powerful. And so I did do Ho'oponopono, and I'm able to walk past the frog without experiencing any anxiety. And it hadn't happened before, so I don't know why it was that day that this was illuminated. And as we do Ho'oponopono, we're probably clearing layers of stuff. And so I think what happened was I had probably cleared so much stuff that now I was able to clear whatever incident with the frog that I had. Okay, moving on. When this happens, okay, so let me go back. The subconscious associates an action, person, or place, and I'm going to say thing, in the present with something that has happened in the past. When this happens, emotions can be stirred and stress occurs. What can we do to help free ourselves from stress and fear? Morrnah has updated the ancient Hawaiian process of Ho'oponopono. It means to cause to set right. I believe Dr. Hewland says to make right. For some reason, I like that better, that phrase better. It is a process given by the Divine Creator as a gift to us. Thank you, Divine Creator, for this gift. It allows us to correct our past errors, set right and wrong thoughts, words, deeds, and actions we have done in the past. So it allows us to correct our past errors and set right the wrong thoughts, words, deeds, and actions we have done in the past. As we use Ho'oponopono, we find that we are able to clear up these past errors and release stress. Thank you. The actual process of Ho'oponopono involves repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. Woo, I love that word, transmutation. All errors and fears are reverently and with humility sent up to the Divine Creator as only He can do the transmutation, the actual changing from negative to positive energy that takes place. Ho'oponopono is a gift, a wonderful tool, the only one in all creation that allows us to actually change the past. Thank you. Seasons of the Mind is about the experiences of people who have done Ho'oponopono. They are sharing important moments in their evolution. Their awakening into cause and effect is both vast and simple, yet leaving within the heart of leaving within the heart of each person reverence. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was living. Yet leaving within the heart of each person reverence and humility for the Divine Creator. So their awakening into cause and effect is both vast and simple, yet leaving within the heart of each person reverence and humility for the Divine Creator. These testimonials are printed expressions of gratitude to the Divine Creator for the key to peace. Ho'oponopono. And yes, I think I'm going to start doing a journal of where Ho'oponopono has worked for me, and that will be a document of gratitude. Okay, fall. This is the first one. As autumn nears, we prepare for the harvest and begin to resolve relationships with our families and our co-workers. Using the Ho'oponopono process as a tool, we develop a greater reverence for the incredible beauty and vulnerability of every atom and molecule in our universe. In the autumn of our minds, we cleanse and release all unnecessary negativity so that only the true beauty and harmony of each unit of life within the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms are here. Slowly but surely, bit by bit, we cleanse from the inside out, knowing that peace begins right here with the tiniest atom of the universe. We cause it within our minds. This one isn't signed. And then it goes on to... Okay, so because this book is called Seasons of the Mind, that first part was fall. And then my mother and I, this is the first testimonial. Both my mother and I learned the Ho'oponopono process. I'm going to start over. Both my mother and I learned the Ho'oponopono process 4 months before she died. Mm. Through the process, we were able to resolve our conflicts and release the hurts and pain we created, accepted, and accumulated throughout our lifetimes together. We were able to truly appreciate and love one another for the very first time. That's beautiful. She looked so very much at peace when she died, and it was the most ever. I guess that was the most ever when she was at peace. Her dying was the most peaceful and loving moment in my life. And that was by the initials C and L. I actually know a person named CL. That's cute. Okay, eye to eye. My daughter and I had not seen eye to eye at all. When I began to include her in my Ho'oponopono, she and I became so close that we talk to each other and actually communicate better than ever before. Signed, K. So let's see. I know Mabel Kotz recommended that if you have things that need to be cleared up with your children, if you have access to them, because sometimes you might have grown adults, but if you have children that are in your house, as they're sleeping, you can do Ho'oponopono over them. So that's one good tip from Mabel. Free to be. My mother's sister, who is elderly, is the most forgetful and quite sickly. She has emphysema, bronchitis, and sometimes pneumonia. Although she has many children, they do not visit her often. As her niece and also a nurse, I have been concerned about her health and well-being. Doing Ho'oponopono has helped me take a look at how I feel about the family and our relationships with each other. Now, when I am with my aunt, she is clear and remembers more than she forgets. The family now participates more in taking care of her. I let the child aspect of our three selves of Ho'oponopono of my auntie's being I let the child aspect of my auntie's being know how much I love her and how free she is to be who she is. Chef kiss on that one, because the greatest gift we can give to people is to let them be who they are and not try to change them. That's one of the greatest gifts we can give to people. The lighted soul. One day at work, the telephone would not work. The buttons would not stay depressed to connect me to a line. I called the repair person and did a Ho'oponopono between myself, the telephone, and the repair person. Something prompted me to notice that the telephone's soul was out, and so I did a soul restoration on behalf of the telephone and included the telephone company. Suddenly, the phone rang, and when I pushed the lighted button, it clicked down. The phone was fixed. I apologized to the repair person when he arrived, and he thanked me. And that's signed J. Wow. So with this one, I didn't realize. Well, I know that things have consciousness, but I'm not used to hearing it as a soul, the soul of the telephone. I'm used to hearing it like the consciousness of the telephone. And so I love that not only did she do Ho'oponopono between herself and the telephone, but she also included the repair person. And that's what I'm learning throughout this journey of Ho'oponopono. Usually I do it just how do I say it? Usually I just do it without cleaning ahead, but I'm gonna start cleaning more ahead. The way I was taught was that you just clean and everything else will be taken care of. And in a sense, it is, because we don't know what memories we're clearing as we clean, and then the divine chooses which ones to get rid of. But cleaning ahead, there's something to that as well. And when I say cleaning ahead, I mean setting an intention. There's something to be said for that as well, because she cleaned with a repair person. So, and he wasn't upset, but rather he thanked her. So that's good. And so as I do more intention setting with Ho'oponopono, I'm going to make sure I include people as well. Okay, it works now. The photocopier at work was breaking down moment to moment, with the repairman coming to fix it about every other day. After, wow, that's a lot of times. After doing the Ho'opono process with the machine, it produced 172 copies at one time. Before the process, its maximum capacity was 20 copies. The repairman is seldom seen now and usually only for the normal servicing. Signed WJL. And I had a washing machine. It got stuck, and so I did Ho'oponopono over it. And it worked one time after that, which was one time more than I thought it would. And then we called the repairman, and now it's working fine. But um, don't feel bad because it's like, why? I was going to feel bad. Why do we need to call the repairman? And so don't feel bad if appliances don't work. You might need to speak to that repairman. And what the repairman told us, he was such a good repairman. We got lucky when we got him. He told us that don't just yank the microwave open. And I don't know, this might be a tip for you guys. Um, don't just yank it open, but actually turn it off first, because he's seen and heard of horror stories where people just yank the microwave open and they get injured. Also, what he shared is if you have a self cleaning oven, don't use the self cleaning feature. The ovens are pretty much irreparable after using the self cleaning oven feature, because the temperatures get all the way up to 800 degrees, and after that it starts melting the plastic. And I was asking, it's like, wow, didn't they do tests for this? And so I forgot what he said, but basically, just because it says self cleaning, don't use that feature. Clean it the old fashioned way. Okay, the talking grass and a little boy. Some of these I might skip just because I want to honor the author's energy and their time with writing this book. So I might skip some, or I might just read to a certain number of pages and then stop. Okay, the talking grass and a little boy. A young boy is 6, and his parents came to take the basic 2 Ho'oponopono training. When he saw me, he came running up to me and said, "Did you know the grass talked to me?" "Really?" I replied. "What did it say?" "It said that it was afraid of the man because he put stuff, weed killer, on it that made it hurt." Oh, I said to the little boy, "Next time the grass talks to you about the man, tell it that you will ice blue it, and then it will no longer have to feel pain and hurt." "What is ice blue?" he asked. I explained to him that it would be his way of helping to protect the grass from feeling pain the next time the man put stuff on it. He looked at me sideways with a twinkle in his merry eyes and said, "Next time I'll do that. Thank you." With a sigh of relief, he skipped away. Signed, HHH. That's such a cute story. And I need to remember to, as I'm walking past grass and trees, to ice blue them just out of love for nature. Okay, even machines. Our air conditioner is constantly going off, and when it does, we are left with warm, dusty air. One day, after sputtering several times, the air stopped coming through the vent. I immediately did a Ho'oponopono and a soul restoration and the air conditioner went back on. There was no repairman on the premises, and it does not usually go back on by itself. Wow. So I need to know what this soul process is, this Ho'oponopono soul restoration process is. And it's signed by NL. If you guys know, because I know a lot of you have either taken classes or read different books than I have, please let me know about this soul restoration process. Ho'oponopono in business. About 3 years ago, I became involved in a gold and silver mining project on the California-Nevada border. I felt that it was a good project, although we didn't have any concrete evidence that gold and silver even existed. On a recent visit to that site, as I went through the paths that led to the valley, I felt a heaviness on me that I could not understand. After returning to my hotel, I did the Ho'oponopono process and a meditation. During the meditation, I visualized Indians at the entrance to the pass. I included them in the process, and when I returned the next day, the heaviness was gone. I knew then that the Indians had been earthbound and were now released. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A few people I met gave me some history of the area. It seems that long ago there had been mineral springs in the lake bed, and the Indians used to come to the springs, especially in the winter. There had been guards at the pass in their time, and the Indians I had seen and released were those guards. Since there were more earthbound Indians in the valley, I did the process on them too. When I returned to Honolulu, I talked to Morrnah about the project. Morrnah learned in her meditation that the project would handsomely reward us. What we were mining was nothing compared to what we would be getting. Soon our production of silver and gold began to increase. At first, we found it was because we were getting better at ore processing. Then, in another area, we found a very high concentration of ore. As time went by, more and more ore was discovered. An interesting note. As I look back, I see that the I, quote unquote, I, really protected the project. When I looked at the investors, all seemed to have a bubble around them to protect them from potential investors who were not deserving of the rewards of this project. All who are involved are good people. They are active in their communities and they are concerned about mankind. None of the problems appeared. All problems that we have been resolved. This is really phenomenal for this kind of project. I attribute this to Ho'oponopono, cleansing the past and present, and allowing Morrnah and me to tune in and receive direction. Oh, that's wonderful. And this person's initials are B and S. Okay, so I skipped a few pages. We are now in the winter section of the book. I'm on page 16. This is the peace of I. I woke up one night and heard a terrible noise. I was worried about the unihippoly of the house. I finally realized that my husband and my son were fighting, and I thought, what was I gonna do if they did not stop? I was all shaken up, and they were making a mess. You guys, I used to teach at this continuation school, and these two kids, they were in the high school and they were over 6 feet. So I stood in between them, but they were punching and fighting over me. It was so crazy. So yeah, that could be an interesting experience, especially when two men are fighting. Okay. All of a sudden, so I was all shaken up and they were making a mess. All of a sudden, the peace of I came to me, and the minute I said, peace of I, the two of them stopped fighting, just like that. Then my husband was crying, and so was my son. I just told them to go into the other room. It has been great knowing that as days go by, my husband is changing moment to moment. Now, he does not go drinking as often. He may go out once or twice a week, but he is always at home by 9. He used to go out at 3:30 in the afternoon and come home at 2:30 in the morning. This is all due to the Ho'oponopono process I do regularly. Wow. For me, I'm eating better, and I just love eating good vegetables, and that was not me. And so I know Ho'oponopono can change people. If it can change me, it can change anyone. And again, please don't feel shame or embarrassed or any negative lower vibration emotions if you're not experiencing this yet. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Okay, that was written by Kay. And then I'm going to skip the next one, Releasing into Love. This is by SC on page 18. A young girl of 16 was referred to me for massage treatment. She had attempted suicide several times and had been seen by a psychiatrist for treatment. She was the third youngest of 4 children and experienced a poor relationship with her father. Recently, she had separated herself from her boyfriend and returned to a former one. Several days before, she had had a fever of 103 and was rushed to the emergency room of a local hospital where cultures were taken. I think that's bacteria cultures. The doctors felt she had mononucleosis, or mono, a viral disease. She was very congested and had a sore throat and diarrhea. I worked on her for 45 minutes using Ho'oponopono and tuning in for guidance. At the end of the session, she felt better and was more relaxed. Her throat pain, her upset stomach, and her aching joints had diminished. Her body felt cooler and her temperature dropped to 99 degrees. While working on her, I saw her in snow, a block of ice, and then in the Arctic Ocean. I also saw ice water washing through her hair and a thick chunk of ice melting in her throat. Yellow water washed through her stomach several times. During the treatment, I experienced the young girl punishing herself and not allowing anyone to love her. At first, she resisted forgiving herself and others. Towards the end of the treatment, I saw her mother, father, sisters, brothers, and friends hugging each other with a lot of love and joy. For an instant, I saw her pretending to die. Then she saw, in a flash, that all there was for her was love. The love seemed to have reached her. The lines in her face softened, and she was together with her inner family and the source. Okay, now we are in spring. And I believe, I believe these introductions to the seasons were written by Morrnah, but I stand corrected. Spring has the initials NC. Always, there are new beginnings when life springs forth from something seemingly barren and gone. The baby's fragile first cry becomes lusty. The raindrops sparkle, soon glow steadily. The rosebud's fragrance permeates the garden, which awakens the bees whose buzzing sets murmuring birds to sing in harmony. New life comes to something that appears barren and gone. With the Ho'oponopono process, we are able to create springtimes with our minds as we cleanse away the clouds to reveal what is already there. My vision. I am convalescing from a major surgery, and although I am legally blind, I have been having beautiful visions. I was laying on my sofa listening to music, and I saw a vision. There was a beautiful green valley and a stream with a waterfall. There was a pool of clear water full of trout and little turtles. There was a chateau-type house of concrete with a chimney. The lawn was green, and there were lots of flowers. There was a family of many generations looking very peaceful and content. They were sitting around a matriarch, who was in her rocking chair. The family is singing, and the matriarch, although she is very old, looks very healthy. There are white doves and squirrels and other animals nibbling at the grass. The trees are heavy with fruit. It is so cool and peaceful. The matriarch is a great grandmother. The children are dressed in jeans and t-shirts. The road to the house is not well paved, and the breeze is so cool. All this I can see thanks to Ho'oponopono. That's so beautiful, and that's by NC. And I'm wondering, is she tuning into the 5D Earth, or is this a form of heaven that she's tuning into? I'm just curious. Depression and productivity. When I first started using Ho'oponopono, when I first started using the Ho'oponopono process, I was having problems at work. I am a civilian employee with the United States Army. I was depressed, and when I went to work, I felt worse. People made fun of me. I felt miserable. I went to see Morrnah, and she cleansed all of the ties that I had at work, including all of the World War II connections that were bothering me. After Ho'oponopono was done, my depression lifted and my work improved to the extent that I won an award for superior performance. The following year, I received an award and my monetary gift for sustained superior performance. See why. That's beautiful. To go from depression to getting awards. Wow. Oh, I wish I knew Morrnah. I really wish I did. Change and freedom. Well, hopefully by, listening to her videos or her tapes that are on video, hopefully I can get to know her, and through the book she's written. I want to take a basic Ho'oponopono class, actually I want to take all of them. I think there might be 2 or 3 of them. Okay, change and freedom. Oh, you guys, leave me a comment below if you want to take a Ho'oponopono class. Okay, change and freedom. I had been in a job that was satisfactory with a stable income. Now I was ready for a job with a higher challenge, more freedom, and a better income. I did my Ho'oponopono and decided to see Morrnah for assistance. She and I meditated, and I received guidance as to what to do. I felt free now to leave my job. I gave my resignation and was very surprised when the company offered me to choose from 2 better positions. Even with these offers, I decided to leave and start my own business in public relations. Currently, I have 1 client and 2 potential clients. I do the Ho'oponopono process moment to moment in my new position. I am absolutely amazed that the ideas flow freely when I am connected within myself, my inner family, the Unihipili, Uhani, and the Amakua, the source, the eye of creation. So, ideas flow freely when all 3 of us are connected to the source. The eye of creation, capital I, the eye of creation, and that is by CD. It is me. Before I attended a Ho'oponopono class, I had a lot of problems with myself and with my family. I saw my husband as being a monster and a beast. I felt as if I could not cope. But with Ho'oponopono, I was able to first look at myself and my attitude as the cause of my own suffering. I used to blame other people, thinking it was them, but now I know it is me. and that's by K. And, that is such a beautiful revelation to have. It's not the other people out there. We can blame the other people out there, but it's not going to help. We have to know it is us. It is me who is causing the problems out there. CY writes attunement. For many years I have talked to God through prayer, and I know that He talks through people. For example, the right people always show up for just what I need and when I need them. Through Ho'oponopono, I have been able to come to an awareness that I can talk directly to the divine creator and He will answer me. These answers have come through meditation. I write down all of what He guides and instructs me to do. The communications are absolutely wonderful and incredible. So basically, at first he or she, CY, at first CY knew that she or he could pray, and she or he knew that God talks through people. But I love that she or he also realized that answers can come directly to CY, to herself or himself, through meditation. I'm wondering, I might need to take the basic class, you guys, because I don't remember hearing anything about meditation in Joe Vitale's and Hugh Lin's classes. But I'm hearing a theme of meditation in Morrnah's classes. Okay. I'm afraid. Oh, this is about a car. I don't know if this is the car incident. No, because this is not signed Hugh Lin. But let's see. Let's read what this says. I'm afraid. When my car sputtered to a stop in a shopping center, I felt momentary panic. Another towing bill. Gently, I talked to her by asking, "What is wrong?" "I'm afraid," she answered. "My water pump is broken." Y'all, it be blowing my mind. It trips me out how these inanimate objects are talking to people. I've not heard, I don't think I've heard of any objects talking to me. Sometimes I get impressions, and that's few and far between. So it's interesting how doing more Ho'oponopono, people are able to tune into objects. Okay, so let's see what Bo or BO has to say. I did a quick Ho'oponopono. I asked her being the car, if she could just drive around the block to the service station and I would get her a new one. She sputtered some more, so I promised that the old one could be recycled and that I would cleanse the new one. I did another Ho'oponopono with the service station and all equipment and parts that would be used. I tried again and she started. We drove to the service station and she stopped just as I drove into the repair section. Sure enough, it was the water pump. Wow, you guys, that's amazing. I asked for a special protection for the old pump so it would be treated nicely. Oh, that's sweet. I would never think to do these things, and so I am so glad we are reading this book. Although I know nothing about cars, I knew it was fixed. I knew it was fixed in no time. So I guess BO went to the service station and switched out the pumps. Interesting. Subtle changes. Oh, this is a good one. Our office building has a lot of negativity because all who enter are connected in some way with illness or poverty, either as victims or, quote, healers, unquote. Also, it was built on land where many died of the plague years ago. Street people collected around the grounds and some died there of alcohol and drug overdose or pneumonia. It was very hard to stay connected, and I was experiencing a lot of stress. When I asked for help, Morrnah suggested that a vortex be installed at the door to cleanse those who entered and left. The next day, I noticed that some of the people complained of being dizzy. I love that. And I love it because this is proof that when we do something in a spiritual realm, it will affect the physical. I called Morrnah and she confirmed that it was their contact with the vortex. So much needed to be released. Lately, I noticed that the asphalt tiles have come off the floor where the vortex is. That's amazing. The vortex appears to be cleansing the land beneath the building. People are laughing more, and the refugees who come in seem to be so much happier. Their children play in the hallway where before they seemed fearful and full of heavy memories. The street people have moved to another area, and we are having fewer incidents of vagrancy in the parking lot. JL. So you just put a vortex in, I guess. You see it in your mind and it's there. That's what I'm thinking is what happened. And I'm so grateful for these stories because I didn't know you should be meditating. I didn't know that a vortex could be installed. You can talk to inanimate objects. Well, I knew that, but they are talking back. This is great. Okay, I skipped a few sections. Now I'm at page 36, my dog. I taught my dog, who is generally hyperactive, the Ho'oponopono process. Whenever I begin the process, he comes and lies down beside me. He closes his eyes and becomes very calm. He remains still throughout the process. Just as I am completing the process, he suddenly gets up, wagging his tail. This is signed by L. The tree. Prior to taking Ho'oponopono, I would suffer pain in my body and get into accidents while trimming a huge plumeria tree in our front yard. I dreaded trimming the tree and avoided doing so unless it absolutely had to be done. Now, before I trim the tree, I do a Ho'oponopono process on myself, the tree, and the tools prior to the trimming. My body feels no pain and there have been no accidents. The tree trimming has been stress-free and even comforting. Okay, I skipped a few more pages. We are now on enemies past. For years, my stepson and I did not get along. We fought even to the point where he would throw a pair of large scissors into the dining room table so that the points of the scissors pierced the table, leaving it in a standing position. Every morning we yelled at each other. Several times we almost got into physical fighting. After taking Ho'oponopono, I realized that he and I had been enemies in past lives. My friend, who had also taken Ho'oponopono, helped me to do the process. I did the process day and night and moment to moment. About 6 months to a year later, the change was obvious to our house guests, friends, and loved ones. I'm going to read that again because there's this conception and perhaps a misconception that Ho'oponopono is instantaneous. When I've done it, I've sometimes have gotten instant results, but sometimes the results are not instant. Okay, so I'm going to read that one more time. I did the process day and night and moment to moment. About 6 months to a year later, the change was obvious to our house guests, friends, and loved ones. Okay, so sometimes Ho'oponopono can take a while. He and I were talking nicely to each other. There was no longer the charge that was there before. He now easily takes turns with his brother in rotating chores, doing the dishes and taking the garbage out. He is a more loving person. This year, he is graduating and he shares his ideas about business with me. Although he has not yet taken Ho'oponopono, he is going to church every Sunday. That is a great start for him. My feelings toward him have warmed up very much and I love him. CD. Wow, 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 wow. I love that one because it just goes to show that enemies don't have to stay enemies. Cleansed away. When I starred in a major school play production, I broke out with a body rash. So that was probably stress related. I tried different anti-rash lotions, but the rash persisted for days. A friend did the Ho'oponopono process with me. We found out that my past lives related to the play characters and actors, past and present, and to the playwriters, directors, costumes, people, places, etc. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it says a friend did the Ho'oponopono process with me. We found out that my past lives related to the play characters and actors, past and present, and to the playwriters, directors, costumes, people, places, etc. So the past lives were somehow related to the play characters. Interesting. After the thorough cleansing, the rash disappeared the next day. By M.H., who at the time was 16 years old. Fear of water. Swimming is a favorite pastime of mine. I am a widow and my only companion is a female German Shepherd who is greatly afraid of the water. A few sprinkles would drive her almost insane. When I learned Ho'oponopono, I used the process in behalf of the dog and asked that all of her fears and frustrations regarding water be released. A few days later, she walked along the beach and went into the water. She has been my constant swimming companion ever since. Wow, that is so beautiful. Okay. I'm just seeing what else we should read. Okay. I think I'm going to read the rest of the book. We're on page 56, and then the book ends on page 60. Okay, mending broken relationships. I have been using Ho'oponopono daily for the last several months and have found it to be an incredibly powerful process that has produced results far and above anything else I've practiced. The most dramatic example is the results achieved with my ex-husband and his mother. I have been divorced for 10 years and my relationship with my ex-husband and his family has been filled with anger, resentment, and bitterness. For 10 years, I have not been able to have a civil discussion with him. He would not allow me to talk to him about anything. Since taking Ho'oponopono and putting him, his relatives, and ancestors in my daily process, and by releasing and getting free from all the negative karma we have accumulated with each other over eons of time, I received a call from him one evening. In fact, he called 4 nights in a row to discuss a problem we were having with one of our children. It was something we had never done before. A week later, his mother called and we had a lengthy, loving conversation, something we, too, had not done for years. At the end of the conversation, she asked me to forgive her for any wrongdoings that had occurred between us over the years, and she wanted me to know that she loved me. Both of these incidents are direct results of using the Ho'oponopono process. My life is now filled with peace, the kind of peace I've searched for a long time. Ho'oponopono is the key. SL. Insight. Ho'oponopono has given me insight into who I truly am and how I want my life to be. A.H. Out of the mouth of babes. Children learn the concepts of Ho'oponopono so quickly and use them in such refreshing ways. They speak to plants and trees and inanimate objects with great spontaneity. Here are some of the conversations I've overheard. Speaking to a petroglyph of Hawaiian speaking to a petroglyph of a Hawaiian warrior. I'm sorry you're dead, sir. To flowering bush. Hey, I pick your flower. No, okay, I'll come back later. The child explained that Pele was standing by the bush and told her that flower will be a berry soon. Why don't you wait and eat the berry? A developmentally disabled client of mine is an adult and at about the 8-year-old stage mentally and socially. She attended Ho'oponopono classes several times. She uses the tape to do the longer Ho'oponopono process, but it's quite apparent that she understands the basic concept of sleep. Your brain is more open when you're sleeping and Ho'opono. Your brain is more open when you're sleeping and Ho'oponopono. When she was assisting at a Ho'oponopono lecture, a newcomer worried aloud that he would sleep through the lecture. She said to him, Never mind if you get it more better that way. Okay, never mind if you get it more better that way. And that was by J.N. Sometimes I have problems with reading and it doesn't make sense right away, so that's why sometimes I stumble. So please forgive any stumbles. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Okay, the gifts of answers. I have found that the key to Ho'oponopono for me is to ask. If only I ask, the answer comes. How does one ask? What does one ask? Who does one ask? I ask the Divine Creator, the Universal Divine Mind, that which knows all, created all. I ask by simply formulating the thought or by directing the questions as, what is causing this problem? What can I do to make right this wrong? How should I do the Ho'oponopono? Then I let it go. It is important to release the request and to just allow myself to be, even to forget about it for a time. Sooner or later, the answer comes. Because the answers are so startling, so unthought of, I know they are answers from the Divine Universal Mind. With each answer I receive regarding the cause of a particular problem, I put that cause in my Ho'oponopono. It is so awesome for me and so wonderfully humbling to receive information of this nature that I find it hard to thank the Creator. Not in a sense of being ungrateful, but in expressing that gratitude. A little secret he has told me is that the thanking is in the using of the gifts and information giving. I am reminded that to use what is given by the Divine Creator is to truly accept it with my heart. K.R. Rejuvenation. A greater period, by far the greatest, is when fear, pain, and suffering all cease and new life emerges. This is not springtime, for then we were young. This is a time when all emerges as complete, total, perfect beings where balance, order, and peace prevail, always. We are beginning on a new adventure, a journey towards self-identity. This journey begins at a door that is opened by a key. This is the key to Ho'oponopono, a process that uses only the mind. We are on the way home, if we so choose. Okay, that is it for this book. I did a reading, and as I was reading, I commented. Now on to the review part. Out of 5 stars, I'd give this book 5 stars. And the reason being is because the stories are so uplifting, and they're inspiring, and they have inspired me to write my own journal of all the wins that Ho'oponopono has done for me. I learned that we should be meditating, and so I have to figure that part out because meditating is not my strongest suit as of yet. So, yeah, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Talk to you later. Bye.